We are taught from childhood that helping others is the highest virtue. We are told that a good soul gives until it hurts. But there is a profound difference between divine charity and self-destruction. Spiritually, your energy, your time, and your peace are not infinite resources. They are talents entrusted to you by the Creator. To waste them on those who are committed to darkness or stagnation is not an act of holiness. It is a misuse of your divine stewardship. Even the heavens have gates. Even mercy has a foundation of truth. Type 1, the chronic mocker, the scorner. The first person God warns us about is the scorner. This is the person who seeks help not to improve, but to find a new audience for their cynicism. The spiritual perspective, Proverbs warns that he who corrects a scorner gets only insults. Why? Because the scorner has replaced their heart with a shield of arrogance. The motivational truth: you cannot pour water into a cup that is turned upside down. When you try to help someone who mocks your values, your faith, or your efforts, you aren't being patient, You are feeding a fire that will eventually burn you. The lesson: stop trying to be the light for someone who is actively choosing to shut their eyes. Your light is better served in a room that wants to see. The second type of person divine wisdom warns us against is the proud rebel, the individual whose heart is encased in a shell of arrogance that no amount of kindness can penetrate. Helping an arrogant person is one of the most spiritually dangerous tasks one can undertake, because pride is the very barrier that keeps a soul from God. When we encounter someone who views our assistance not as a gift, but as a validation of their own superiority, we are no longer performing an act of charity. We are feeding a monster that will eventually turn on us. The proud rebel believes they are the center of their own universe, and that any good fortune that comes their way is a result of their own brilliance, while any failure is the fault of the world around them. When you step in to solve their problems or alleviate their suffering, they do not see your sacrifice. Instead, they see a servant doing what is expected. To the arrogant, your mercy is interpreted as your weakness. They mistake your compassion for an admission that they are entitled to your time, your energy, and your resources. This creates a toxic cycle where the more you give, the more they demand, and the less respect they hold for you. Divine wisdom suggests that for such a person, the only true teacher is life itself. By constantly shielding a proud person from the consequences of their actions, you are actually depriving them of the very humility they need to save their soul. True growth only happens when the ego is shattered, and the ego is only shattered when it hits a wall it cannot climb. If you always act as the ladder for the arrogant to climb over that wall, they will never learn to look upward toward a higher power or inward at their own flaws. They will continue to walk through life trampling on the hearts of those who love them, convinced of their own invincibility. There is a deep spiritual reason why we are told that pride is the root of all fall. It blinds a person to the reality of their own fragility. When you help someone who refuses to acknowledge their need for grace, you are essentially participating in their delusion. You become a co-conspirator in their fantasy of self-sufficiency. This is why many spiritual traditions suggest that the greatest kindness you can show a proud person is to withdraw your hand. This withdrawal is not an act of spite or a manifestation of your own ego. It is a calculated act of tough love. It is the recognition that your presence in their life has become a crutch that allows them to remain crippled in their character. Furthermore, the proud rebel often harbors a hidden resentment toward those who help them. Deep down, their ego feels stung by the fact that they needed someone else. To heal this sting, they will often find ways to insult or belittle the person who saved them. They will bite the hand that feeds them, not because they are hungry, but because they hate the fact that they were hungry in the first place. By continuing to help such a person, you subject yourself to unnecessary abuse and emotional trauma. You are trading your peace for their pride, and that is a transaction that God never asked you to make. Your life and your resources are a trust given to you by the Creator, and you are expected to be a wise manager of that trust. Wasting those resources on someone who uses them to further inflate their ego is a violation of that stewardship. To truly help a proud person, you must step aside and let the natural laws of the universe take over. Let them face the silence of their own making. Let them deal with the gravity of their own choices. When the world finally breaks them, and the world eventually breaks everyone who is too rigid to bend, only then will they be in a position to receive true help. Until that moment of brokenness occurs, your efforts are nothing more than fuel for a fire that will eventually consume you both. Choosing not to help the arrogant is an act of profound spiritual boundaries. It is saying that while you have infinite love for the soul, you have zero tolerance for the ego that hides it. This boundary protects your heart from being hardened by the coldness of their response, ensuring that you remain soft and available for those who are truly humble and ready to grow. Gemini said the third category of individuals divine wisdom warns us against are the persistent mockers, those who use their intelligence and their voices not to build but to destroy through the weapon of ridicule. Helping a mocker is a dangerous endeavor because their very nature is to devalue the sacred, the sincere, and the selfless. When you offer your heart, your time, or your resources to a person who thrives on mockery, you are essentially offering a sacrifice to an altar of cynicism. These are the people who meet your vulnerability with a smirk and your generosity with a sarcastic comment. They do not see the beauty in your intentions. They only see an opportunity to practice their wit at your expense. In many spiritual traditions, we are warned that there is a point where silence and withdrawal are the only holy responses to those who scoff at truth and kindness. To continue to pour your light into a person who mocks the very source of that light is to disrespect the gift you have been given. It is a violation of your owl and dignity to remain in a position where your goodness is treated as a punchline. The persistent mocker is often someone who is deeply wounded and uses their tongue as a shield, but their refusal to put down that shield makes it impossible for them to receive genuine healing. When you try to help them, they perceive your help as an invitation to find your flaws. They will dissect your motives, questioning why you are being kind, and will eventually find a way to make your virtue look like a hidden vice. This is why spiritual wisdom suggests that we should not cast our pearls before those who will only trample them and then turn to tear us to pieces. The pearls are your deepest values, your most sincere efforts, and your most precious resources. By offering these to a mocker, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not value your own soul. You are allowing the sacred act of giving to be dragged into the mud of their bitterness. This does not mean you stop loving them from a distance, but it means you stop providing the fuel for their fire. Moreover, the mocker is a contagious presence. Their energy is designed to make everyone around them feel small, foolish, or naive for believing in something better. If you spend your life trying to save or help a mocker, you will eventually find your own faith eroding. You will start to hear their voice in your head every time you try to do something good, mocking your own sincerity. This is the ultimate danger of helping the wrong people. They don't just take your things, they take your spirit. They convince you that the world is as cold and hollow as they feel it is. Divine wisdom warns us to walk away from the seat of the scoffer, because that seat is a place of spiritual death. By withdrawing your help, you are making a powerful statement that your goodness is not a commodity to be played with. You are teaching them through the only language they understand, which is the language of consequence, that their behavior has cost them a valuable connection. There is also a profound level of arrogance in the mocker that mirrors the proud rebel, but it is disguised as intellectual superiority. They believe they see the world as it really is, which to them means seeing it as a series of jokes and disappointments. When you help them, you are validating their worldview. You are telling them that they can treat people with contempt and still be rescued when they fall. This prevents them from ever reaching the moment of holy silence, where they might actually hear the whisper of their own conscience. By leaving them to their own devices, you are allowing the weight of their own cynicism to finally become too heavy for them to carry. Only when they realize that their mockery has left them completely alone will they perhaps begin the long journey towards sincerity. Until then, your absence is a more powerful teacher than your presence could ever be. You must protect your capacity for wonder and your ability to be sincere by refusing to let a mocker hold a position of influence in your life. The fourth type of person divine wisdom warns us against is the deliberate sinner, the individual who does not stumble out of weakness but chooses the path of transgression with full knowledge and intent. Helping such a person is a profound spiritual trap because it often crosses the line from compassion into enablement. There is a vital distinction between a person who is struggling to overcome a flaw and a person who uses your kindness as a subsidy for their vice. When you provide a safety net for one who is intentionally walking a path of destruction, you are not saving them from their fall. You are simply making it comfortable for them to stay fallen. Divine law suggests that every action carries a consequence, and these consequences are the universe's way of correcting a soul that has gone astray. When you step in to remove those consequences, you are essentially trying to be more merciful than the Creator. And in doing so, you interrupt the very suffering that was meant to lead that person to repentance. A deliberate sinner often views your help as a resource to be exploited for their next mistake. If you give money to someone who uses it to feed an addiction, or if you provide an alibi for someone who refuses to be honest, you are not being a good person. You are becoming a silent partner in their self-destruction. This is the heavy burden of tough love that many people find difficult to carry. It feels cruel to say no, but it is actually an act of supreme spiritual courage to let someone face the gravity of their own choices. If they never feel the cold, they will never seek the fire. If they never feel the hunger, they will never seek the bread of life. By constantly intervening, you create a false reality where they believe they can defy the laws of morality and character without ever having to pay the price. This creates a soul that is pampered in its corruption, growing more bold in its wrongdoing because it knows you will always be there to pick up the pieces. Furthermore, the deliberate sinner often develops a specialized form of manipulation aimed directly at your empathy. They know your values, they know your heart is soft, and they use those very virtues against you. They will cry tears of temporary regret, not because they hate what they ID'd, but because they hate the situation they are in. The moment your help arrives and the pressure is relieved, they return to the same behavior that caused the crisis in the first place. This cycle drains your spirit and wastes resources that could have been used to help someone who is truly desperate to change. You must realize that your energy and your means are finite. Every time you spend them on someone who is committed to a life of intentional wrong, you are stealing from the person who is genuinely praying for a way out of their darkness. You are keeping a seat at your table for a person who intends to flip it over, while someone who would have cherished your bread is left waiting outside. Divine wisdom teaches that we must be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. Innocence without wisdom is merely naivety, and it often leads to the destruction of the helper. You cannot love someone into changing if they are not willing to let go of the things that are killing them. In fact, your very presence as a rescuer may be the reason they feel they don't need to change. They have outsourced their conscience to you. They do wrong and you feel the guilt. They break things and you do the repairs. This dynamic is a spiritual sickness. To truly help a deliberate sinner, you must have the strength to walk away and leave them in the hands of the divine. You must allow them to hit the rock bottom that they have been digging for themselves. Only when the ground is hard and the sky is silent will they be forced to look inward and realize that the only way out is through a total transformation of the heart. Until they reach that point, your help is nothing more than a hindrance to their salvation. The fifth type of person divine wisdom warns us against is the lazy deck river, the individual who has made a career out of manufactured helplessness and uses the labor of others to avoid the sacred responsibility of their own life. These are the people who treat the world as a harvest they did not plant and their peers as tools for their own comfort. Spiritual wisdom across all ages teaches that work is not merely a means to survive, but a form of worship and a path to dignity. When you help a person who is capable of effort but chooses to live through deception and sloth, you are participating in the decay of their character. These individuals are masters of the emotional script. They know how to paint their laziness as a streak of bad luck and their lack of discipline as a series of unfair obstacles. They do not want a hand up. They want a free ride. By providing for them what they should be providing for themselves, you are robbing them of the only thing that could ever make them a whole person, the necessity of struggle and the pride of accomplishment. The lazy deceiver thrives in the shadow of your guilt. They watch your success and your hard work, and instead of being inspired by it, they calculate how they can benefit from it without ever having to replicate your sacrifice. If you continue to sustain them, you are effectively telling them that their deception is more profitable than honesty and that their idleness is more rewarding than industry. This is a profound injustice to those who are truly unable to work and to those who are working tirelessly but still struggling. Every resource you give to a person who is simply waiting for a shortcut is a resource stolen from a genuine cause. Divine law emphasizes that the hand that works is the hand that is blessed, but the person who refuses to sow should not be surprised when there is end. Offering for them to reap by intervening in this natural law of harvest, you create a spiritual imbalance where the parasite outlives the host. Your help becomes a cage that keeps them in a state of permanent childhood, never allowing them to develop the muscles of responsibility or the backbone of integrity. In conclusion, the warning against helping these 5 types of people, the ungrateful, the proud, the mocker, the deliberate sinner, and the lazy deceiver, is not a call to become cold-hearted or cynical. It is a call to move from blind empathy to divine discernment. True compassion is not the act of giving everyone whatever they ask for. It is the wisdom to give people what they actually need, which is often the space to face themselves. We must understand that we are not the ultimate saviors of the world. We are merely stewards of the light we carry. When we waste that light on those who use it to hide their own darkness, we dim the world for everyone else. Setting boundaries is a spiritual discipline that protects the purity of our hearts and ensures that our kindness remains a powerful force for change rather than a tool for enablement. We must learn to trust the silence of God. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do for another person is to step out of the way and let God deal with them directly. Our interference often prevents the divine friction necessary for a soul to ignite. By letting go of the need to fix everyone, we free ourselves to focus on our own growth and on those rare, beautiful souls who are truly ready to receive, to appreciate, and to multiply the good we put into the world. Your life is a precious gift and your energy is a finite resource. Spend it where it will grow, invest it where it will be honored, and guard it against those who seek only to consume. In the end, we will not be judged by how many people we tried to save, but by the wisdom with which we manage the love we were given to share.